Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of Hit the Rewind, where I deconstruct lyrics from songs and give appreciation to wise wordsmiths. I'm your host, the diabolical daredevil of the double entendre, AJ Baymon. And today I'm going to be breaking down one of my songs, Picked Up My Heart. That only took 1,000 years. Picked Up My Heart actually came from, before I start that. So, this is like my first time doing this. I got my patented Pac-Man shirt on. I don't know. I just bought this, and I'm probably gonna have to give it away because that's what happens when you start losing weight. I guess like these extra larges are, depending on whose it is have you swimming. So when you it's not 1997 no more, so I don't wear my jeans extra baggy, and so when I have on pants that fit, and then have on a t-shirt that's too big, and end up walking around looking like an umbrella. And so so I'm probably gonna have to give this away, unfortunately. But anyway, let's talk about the song. I wrote Picked Up My Heart. I actually wrote this, it might have been maybe 10 years ago. And so it was like a snippet, and it was like a song that I never finished. I wrote some lyrics, and I had my ex to sing on it, because she can sing. And so it was cool when I did this. But I never finished it. Like I actually never did anything on it, and so it was so long ago. I was kind of vibing to the instrumental. I wanted to use it again. So, and it was really appropriate for where I'm sort of at in my life right now. Saying, just what it means. Picked up my heart. And so, I was saying, so I started the song off, with my niece, saying, cause some of my family had heard it before, before I put the music out. And so, it was like a song that my nephews and nieces asked to hear, by name. So I had that on the beginning. But anyway, so the hook is just me saying, picked up my heart, it was broken on the ground. And it's so simple, but that's really what it was. Sometimes it is. So just picked up my heart, it was broken on the ground. Picked up my heart, it was broken on the ground. And so I started out like, life don't always turn out the way you think it's supposed to, but you got to grow through everything that you go through. If you take an L, don't give up. I really hope you take all that is yours and beat Satan as if he owes you. So, life don't always turn out the way you think it's supposed to. You think things will be one way in life a lot of times, and sometimes it just doesn't turn out that way. Like we think that we know better, but it's like just one of those things where you have to sort of believe that that God knows what He's doing. I would hope that He knows what He's doing. He's been around a lot longer than me, so I kind of so I put my trust in that. Like the life doesn't always turn out the way you think it's supposed to. But you have to grow through everything. That you could complain. I could complain. But I think growth is a choice. And so it's kind of just a situation where, like, not things didn't turn out the way that you wanted, but you can't really throw a temper tantrum. You can't cry about where you are. You kind of just gotta appreciate that you're still around to be able to possibly correct it, or to be able to pick up the pieces and move on. I hate having to take L's, and I feel like I've had to take so many in recent years. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You got to get up. You got to keep going. And that's really where my mindset was at when I wrote this. And obviously, the last, when I said beat the devil as if he owes you, like, just, like they, like they would say, beat him like he stole something. I said, I lost everything, so I can tell you, you can get it back. What the enemy will do is isolate you, then attack. That's why we got to be wholehearted in what we give to the Lord. My mind was fractured, but the love of God is adhesive. So I'm saying, I really, like, I lost everything. I felt like, I've lost everything. I had a house fire, maybe like 7 years ago. I lost everything. But it's, so, you can lose everything that way. In this particular instance, like, losing everything, it's kind of like, that feeling when everything that you feel that you believed in sort of comes falling down. And so it may not be everything from a materialistic standpoint, but it's like, I lost everything, like, and so I feel like I'm starting from scratch emotionally. I'm starting from nothing, and sort of having to find a way to build myself back up. And what the enemy will do is isolate you, then attack. What I mean is that, like, that's like, those are the times that, those are the times when those bad thoughts and those bad things, try to sneak up on you. Like, when you're by yourself, and, like, because everybody's like around you when stuff happens. If somebody passes, if you have a bad breakup, if you, whatever, if somebody gets hurt or somebody's in the hospital, like, when things happen, like, people are around. A lot of times you feel like you want to be alone, and it's good to have that alone time, but you got to be careful because in that time, it's during that time that you can, you become isolated, like, like, you're by yourself, and it becomes like an unhealthy thing. Like, you really don't need to be by yourself. You need encouragement from somewhere. When you're not able to encourage yourself, you need, you need that encouragement. And so, that's what the devil does, man. It's like, he only really has the power of suggestion, but it's like, when you're isolated, like, you're not doing the things that that you probably should be doing, whether it's praying, whether it's like, just kind of like just being quiet, meditating on God, or reading your word, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, you just, like, that will be the only voice that you have. And because he's so good at he's so good at using the power of suggestion, the things that he's saying to you a lot of times will sound like your own thoughts. It will sound like it's coming from you. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's why I go on to say, that's why we got to be wholehearted in what we give to the Lord. It's like, not just giving any old thing. Like, when you're in that in that fractured, that weakened state of mind, because I said that's why we got to be wholehearted in what we give to the Lord. My mind was fractured, but the love of God is adhesive. Because when you're able to give, to give yourself fully, like wholly over to God, you're able to, He's able to put you back together. It's one thing to be listening and hearing about people being made whole, versus you actually becoming whole yourself, and that takes work. And so it's not always easy at the time that you're feeling depression, at the time that you're feeling those negative things. But if you wholeheartedly just go after God, because at that point you're desperate. There's, like you're sort of at the end of your rope anyway, so you don't have a reason to not give your all. But it's at that time that you'll be able to find yourself and be able to allow God to really put you back together. Like, I used to do like puzzles as a kid with your parents. It seemed like they always knew how to put the puzzle pieces in the places that they went, and you would be having so much trouble finding what fit with what, and because you're just a kid, like you don't know, like you can't see things the way that they see things. And so, like they could put it together, and and you, as a kid, you're just standing there in awe because they just did something that you thought was impossible. And it's the same way with God. Like he takes all of those pieces of us, the parts that we thought were dead, the parts that we thought that we would never be able to fit back together anywhere. When things break, they, like some of them break and some of the pieces that break are so small that we're, you don't think that even if I glue this back together, it's still going to have holes in it. But he's able to pick up things and put them back together and put, and pick your heart up, like the song says, and put it back together in such a way that when it's completed, you won't even be able to tell that it was broken at all. Next, I just sort of get a little bit deeper into what, just a little bit deeper into what was happening with me. And I was saying how I was in a bad way, living life half away, thinking all my better days were gone, like they passed away. Tom Hanks on an island with Wilson, I was a castaway. Then one Sunday morning I came through and heard the pastor say, so I was in a bad way, living life half away. So saying like I was in a bad way. That means when I say that I was in a bad way, I'm saying that I was where I shouldn't have been. I was where, sort of had like 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the church. Really, it's sort of just doing doing things that I knew better than to do, being places that I knew better than to be. And so, you kind of just like in and out, so I was living like, I was in a bad way, living life half away. It's like, you can't be lukewarm and think that you're going to be able to stay sane. It'll tear your mind up. Listen, it really will. But part of the reason that I was like that, I feel like I was like barely holding on to my salvation, and I said thinking all my better days were gone, like they passed away. I thought that everything that I ever wanted to do, like my future, my promise, everything that I wanted to do was not going to happen. Somehow, I messed up so bad that, that I was just, I kind of sort of just like let all of those, all of the things that I wanted to do, all the things I dreamed about and such, just kind of let it pass me by. Thinking on my better days were gone, like they passed away. Tom Hanks on an island with Wilson, I was a castaway. And so, like, you know, like that, and that's the way that I felt too. Was like I felt, you know, like I didn't belong nowhere. I didn't, you know, truth be told, like you know, you get out and you sort of doing stuff. You do feel out of place doing stuff that you don't have no business doing. Even if it's things that you want to do, you sort of feel out of place doing it. But then, like, you go to church and you feel out of place there because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so it's like it's, you know, it's like this tug of war, but there's no real middle because there can't be. You have to be all in or you have to be all out. So many ways I did feel like a castaway. And I said, then one Sunday morning I came through and heard the pastor say, you're better than where you've been. You're living beneath your privilege. Feeling you're lost within, but Jesus is in the distance. Saying, you know, I don't know what it sounds like when somebody encourage y'all, but to say that you're better than where you've been, to me, good God, I mean, it means so much. It meant so much, and it was crazy because he didn't even know where I was necessarily because we hadn't talked. I hadn't had a conversation with anybody about how I was feeling, where I was at, what I was doing. But, you know, for that to just, you know, for you to like struggle and press your way to make it to the church, and then to hear that, which specifically pertains to you, it was my mind was blown. So you're better than where you've been. But, you know, like you've done some stupid things, you've done some crazy, wild, ridiculous mess, but you're better than that. You still have an opportunity to be better than that. Like, you're living beneath your privilege. You know, we often call one another, you know, kings and queens, particularly in the Black community. You know, but we, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it feels like words that we just throw around. But to say that you're living beneath your privilege, you're living beneath the level that God designed for you to live at. And so, like, you know, like my mother says, if you're supposed to be a king, you can't always try to be a butler. So you're better than where you've been. You're living beneath your privilege, feeling you're lost within, but Jesus is in distance. And so this is so where I was at, because I felt like, I'm so lost. I can't even feel Jesus. Like, I feel like I'm coming here, and it is, I might as well stay home. Because I'm so lost. All around me is just darkness. It's just dark. To the point where I can't even imagine that there is a way out, for me. Having grown up in the church, knowing that there, that God is all powerful and Jesus is the light and all of this stuff. Knowing that, I feel, for me, I know this stuff, but for me, I feel like you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like as if it's just too late, and it wasn't. But I thought it was. He said, feeling you're lost within, but Jesus is in the distance. And the next lyric was, let the carpenter repair the parts of you that are broken. Again, we're talking about, picked up my heart. It was broken on the ground. Let the carpenter repair the parts of you that are broken. Jesus the carpenter. Call out to him now. It ain't time to be soft spoken. And that's for me. Like I'm not like the type of person who yells a lot. Hence the name soft spoken prophet. You know what I mean? Like that's not. I'm ordinarily a little bit more mild mannered, sort of laid back. I deal with all types of anxiety, includes social anxiety. So I don't like to talk to people that I don't know and be around a lot of people that I don't know, and I suck at making small talk and whatever. But anyway, but it said, let the carpenter repair the parts of you that are broken. Call out to him now. It ain't time to be soft spoken. And so that's what I had to do, like to, you know what I mean, like really call out to Jesus, call on him to help me, and I did, and that is but a fraction of my story, but that is the end of this short song called "Picked Up My Heart."